I'm a consultant in emergency medicine. I've spent the past year wearing this sort of thing whilst at work and coping with the struggles that it brings. I bet you're glad I've taken off the mask now, as you can get a much better sense of who I am and what I'm saying. Faces and expressions are so important. A few years ago, I read Fruitfulness on the Frontline by Mark Green, and we also studied it in my home group. I was very challenged about how I could ensure that I was doing my best to be Christ-like on my frontline, the NHS, or more specifically, a busy, crowded emergency department. One of the biggest challenges to me was the concept of not looking for the grandiose evangelistic moments, although we should be ready for those, but rather consistently striving to be kind and shining God's light day by day within the dark world that can be the NHS. We will all be familiar with low morale, compassion fatigue, burnout, and a tendency towards grumbling and cynicism that happen daily in our NHS frontlines. But there are examples in the book of people simply living a life that testified to their faith and glorified God by doing small and simple things consistently over time, being gracious, flexible and uncomplaining. And their colleagues noticed. For me, the challenge was to be cheerful, friendly, smiley and not grumble. I felt challenged to live my Christian life at work by demonstrating cheerfulness at work. This would mean smiling at staff and patients in the corridor, having an open face and using my facial expressions to encourage people. When a junior doctor is discussing a patient with me, I try to smile and make them feel at ease. When meeting relatives of a patient, I smile and try to be welcoming. As you can imagine, having to go about normal work now, always wearing a mask and only being able to see each other's eyes has had an impact on this. I've had to find other ways to smile. I now use a thumbs up or a wave, and I've learned a bit on how to use my eyes to convey warmth to people. This is a small example of how God uses people in their workplace, and there will be many others with stories of how God has been at work and challenged them this past year. But for me, the greatest workplace challenge has always been about showing kindness, smiling and avoiding grumbling as a means to live out and declare my faith at work and in my whole life. Don't misunderstand me. I frequently get this wrong and still moan, grumble and roll my eyes, but I'm getting better. This is how I believe God uses me at work, as a little chink of light in what can be a dark and difficult environment. It was hard even before COVID, and is harder still with this added extra layer of workplace complication and worry. But I pray that He will continue to shape me and use me in this way as I seek to live my whole life for Christ.